Father neglects me for his new family, years later lies about needing money for medical bills, and spends it on his family's luxurious lifestyle. I never imagined I'd be sharing my story with strangers on the internet, but sometimes life throws curveballs that are too crazy not to share. I'm 28 now, and my journey has been a roller coaster of emotions. Here's how it all went down. My parents divorced when I was 13. My mom, Lisa, and my dad, Richard, had their differences, and it just didn't work out. It was tough on me, but I figured my dad and I could still have a good relationship despite the split. Unfortunately, I was in for a rude awakening. Less than 4 months after the divorce, my dad started seeing a new woman named Karen. They seemed happy, and I wanted my dad to be happy too. But within a year and a half, they were married, and Karen moved in with her 2 kids, 16-year-old Jessica and 11-year-old Dylan. Overnight, I went from being an only child to having 2 step-siblings who were nothing short of spoiled. Jessica and Dylan got everything they wanted. New clothes, the latest gadgets, and even a trip to Disneyland, while I was pushed aside. At first, I tried to fit in, but it was clear I wasn't part of their family. My dad stopped paying child support, claiming he couldn't afford it, yet he had no problem indulging his new stepkids. When I visited my dad's house, I was forced to share my room with Dylan. That was awkward, but I dealt with it. However, it got worse when my room was eventually given to Dylan entirely, and I was relegated to the couch during visits. It felt like I didn't belong there anymore, so I stopped visiting as frequently. Years went by, and I watched as Jessica went off to college with a fully paid tuition and a brand new car. When it was my turn, my dad told me I had to get a job to support myself through college. It stung, but my mom was supportive, and with her help and my own hard work, I put myself through college. I then pursued law school, and after years of dedication and perseverance, I landed a job at a prestigious law firm. A few months ago, out of the blue, my dad reached out. He said he needed money for urgent medical expenses. He claimed he had been diagnosed with a serious heart condition and required surgery that his insurance wouldn't fully cover. Despite everything, I agreed to help. Shortly after, I visited my dad, expecting to see some signs of his supposed surgery. However, I noticed there were no signs of medical issues or even scarring on his chest. There was no indication that any surgery had taken place. Something didn't sit right with me. I did some digging and discovered that the money wasn't for medical bills at all. It was for Dylan's college tuition, a high-end car, and an extravagant family vacation, a family I wasn't part of. When I confronted my dad, he had the nerve to say I owed him after all the years he supported me. That was the last straw. I was furious. So, I did what any lawyer would do. I took him to court for fraud. Now, we're in the middle of a legal battle, and I'm determined to get my money back and make sure he faces the consequences of his actions. Update 1. It's been a few weeks since my initial post, and I wanted to share an update. After filing the lawsuit, my dad tried to play the victim, claiming I was being unreasonable and ungrateful. He even rallied Karen, Jessica, and Dylan against me, painting me as the villain in the family saga. The defamation didn't stop there. Karen and my dad took to social media, posting exaggerated and false stories about how I abandoned my family and how heartless I was for suing my own father. Jessica and Dylan joined in, spreading lies among our mutual acquaintances and making my life even more stressful. They would post pictures of their luxurious lifestyle, making veiled references to my supposed greed and lack of family values. However, the evidence I gathered was solid. I had bank statements, emails, and even messages from Dylan bragging about his new car and the upcoming vacation. My lawyer, a colleague from my firm, assured me we had a strong case. We documented every lie and every misleading post, adding them to our growing file of evidence. The first court hearing went in my favor. The judge saw through my dad's lies and deception. He's now being investigated for fraud, and there's a possibility of criminal charges. Update 2. Another month has passed, and the situation has escalated. My dad's lawyer reached out, trying to negotiate a settlement. They offered to return the money I gave him and a small additional amount to drop the case. I refused. This isn't just about the money anymore, it's about holding him accountable for his actions. Meanwhile, Karen and my step-siblings have been trying to guilt-trip me, saying I'm tearing the family apart. They even had the audacity to ask my mom to intervene. She stood by me, reminding them that my dad made his choices and now had to face the consequences. The media got wind of the case, and now it's become somewhat of a local scandal. People are starting to see my dad for who he really is, and his reputation is taking a significant hit. It's a small consolation for all the pain he caused, but it's something. Local news outlets picked up the story, and suddenly, my dad's once pristine image was tarnished. My dad even went so far as to make a scene at my law firm, hoping to get me fired. He showed up unannounced, causing a disturbance and demanding to see me. He claimed that I was a disgrace to the family and that the firm should let me go. He yelled in the reception area, calling me a traitor and a liar, trying to create a public spectacle. Thankfully, the managing partners know my character and hard work. They stood by me and had him escorted out of the building. His actions only solidified my decision to see this through to the end. The backlash didn't stop there. My dad and Karen continued their social media tirade, but this time, it backfired. People started questioning their narrative, and more of their lies were exposed. The community began to see through their facade, and the support I received was overwhelming. Friends, colleagues, and even strangers reached out, offering words of encouragement and solidarity. Meanwhile, I continued to gather evidence. My dad's financial records revealed a pattern of lavish spending on Karen and her kids while he claimed poverty to avoid his obligations to me. More people came forward, sharing their stories of my dad's deceitful behavior. It felt like a weight was being lifted as the truth finally started to come to light. Update 3. The trial continued to unfold, and as more evidence surfaced, my dad's lies began to unravel further. I learned that he had even taken out loans in my name, which I had to dispute and clear from my credit report. This revelation added another layer to the legal battle, but it also strengthened my case. During this entire ordeal, my mom, Lisa, has been my rock. She supported me emotionally and financially, always reminding me that I was doing the right thing by standing up for myself. Her unwavering support gave me the strength to keep fighting, even when things got tough. Karen's threats to leave became more serious. She started distancing herself from my dad, perhaps realizing that his financial stability was crumbling. Jessica and Dylan, who had been so vocal on social media, went silent as the reality of the situation set in. My dad, who once seemed so confident and untouchable, was now facing the consequences of his actions. The legal proceedings brought to light even more of my dad's deceitful actions. Old friends and distant relatives started reaching out, sharing their own stories of betrayal and dishonesty. It was painful to hear, but it also confirmed that I wasn't alone in this fight. Each new piece of evidence added to the overwhelming case against him. Throughout the trial, my mom never wavered in her support. She attended every court session, helped organize documents, and was always there to offer a comforting word. Her presence was a constant reminder that I had people who truly cared about me, regardless of the chaos my dad had caused. Update 4. Final update: the court case is over. The judge ruled in my favor, ordering my dad to repay all the money and cover my legal fees. Additionally, he's facing criminal charges for fraud, which could result in jail time. Karen has officially left him, and my stepfamily is in disarray. The stress and public scrutiny have taken a toll on their perfect image, and their unity is starting to crumble. It's been a long and painful journey, but I finally feel a sense of closure. My mom and I are closer than ever, and I've learned to surround myself with people who truly care about me. I've reconnected with old friends and made new ones who appreciate me for who I am, not for what I can do for them. My career is thriving, and I'm grateful for the support of my colleagues and mentors. As for my dad, he's getting what he deserves. The legal system has held him accountable, and he's facing the consequences of his actions. He tried to use guilt and manipulation to control me, but I've learned to stand up for myself and not let anyone take advantage of me. The entire ordeal has been a harsh lesson in trust and resilience. To anyone out there dealing with a toxic family member, stay strong and remember that you deserve to be treated with respect. Sometimes, standing up for yourself means making difficult choices, but it's worth it in the end. Surround yourself with people who truly care about you, and never let anyone dim your light. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed hearing about my journey, please like and subscribe to stay updated on future videos. Your support means the world to me.